to have dill, and this baby dill is just rich and wonderful. And finally, I know someone's going to write me a letter now and say, well, garlic isn't really an herb. Well, I don't want to call it a vegetable, but I suppose it is. For me, garlic goes into the herb family. That is to say, I use it constantly. And I never use dried garlic or garlic that's been flaked or desiccated or any other such crazy thing. I use fresh garlic always. Those are the babies. These are the helpers in your kitchen. And they'll really help you become a very fine cook if you'll simply taste things. And don't write me and say, what do I use this in, what do I use that in? Taste things and then figure out what you should do with it. These are great in soups. I've even got bread for you today. It's going to be a great time. First of all, I want to take you to the Riverview Herb Farm. This is a fabulous place. It's up by Snoqualmie Falls. And the falls are so beautiful. That's Washington State. I love it. And near the falls, in Falls City, Washington, is an enormous herb farm run by Emil and Robin Geis. Now, they have 2 ducks. These guys are organic farmers. Emil and the daughter, Shanti, are putting the 2 ducks in the pen there for their bath. And the 2 ducks are called Henny and Penny. And Henny and Penny eat all of the slugs. Emil and Robin refuse to use chemicals on their farm, so it's all organic farming. Which one is that? Oh, when you crush them up, the odor of fresh tarragon or rosemary, beautiful sage. Here's oregano. Look at how bright the flowers are. This place is really fascinating. I was shocked when they told me that they grow. Here he's fluffing up the mint because of the oil, he says. You've got to taste the oil, and in your hands you do crush these things. But now when he harvests this is something I didn't know. When he harvests mint, he cuts it clear down to the ground. It's almost like a shrubby, clear down to the ground. And I couldn't figure out why. And Emil explained that means the next year they'll get large leaves instead of little stinky ones like I get in my garden. So I'm going home this afternoon and I'm going to cut my mint down to the bottom. This is a basil leaf that he... These people are kind of, they're sort of leftover hippies that are just beautiful and charming and gracious. Oh, these ladies are from the Hmong tribe in Laos. And in Laos, you know, they grow all kinds of herbs and eat them with vegetables and with meat, just as they do in Vietnam. So these people who help them in their farming are real herb experts. So let's clear the deck here, if that's at all possible, and get on to cooking with herbs. I promise you, you're going to learn I hope something new today. If you know all these things, I'm very impressed. One of the things that we do with pesto, and I'm not going to make another one for you, and one of the things we do with basil, I should say, is to make a pesto sauce. Now, pesto is simply basil leaves ground up. I just run mine through a food processor. Wonderful basil. Ground up with a bit of parsley, olive oil, lots of garlic, some cheese, Parmesan or Romano, salt and pepper, and, of course, tons of garlic. That makes it. And then you can put in some nuts if you like. Pine nuts are traditional. I use walnuts sometimes. What would you do with this? Well, it's great on pasta, just like this. But next time that you want to make a really good tomato sauce, whoops, I almost sinned. You know my sin. I always tell you never to put a metal spoon in your pan. Use wood, or I'm on a new gimmick these days. I found a line of plastic that doesn't melt on the stove. It's really good stuff. So I'm using that nowadays. It's called Ultra Temp. Good stuff. Back to the old spoon. Oh, I'm terribly conservative. Basic tomato sauce, salt, garlic, that sort of thing. I'm going to put some pesto in it. Try that in your tomato sauce next time. This is so good. It just changes completely. Well, I think basil and tomato are lovers. That's all there is to it. They're lovers. As a matter of fact, Mark has a lover salad for us that he's going to show us later on. He's one of our staff. All right, tomato sauce. Let me put that in a dish for us so we can look at it a bit. So good. Just put a little pesto in your sauce. And then you can put this over pasta, meatloaf, anything you want. Pesto, tomato sauce. 1 down. 2, the next thing we're going to prepare, so simple, so simple. When you're cooking peas, you know, the kids get tired of peas. please, don't boil them in a pot. Simply put them in a frying pan with some onions, sauteed onions, in a little olive oil and garlic. Yes, everything is olive oil and garlic. And add to the pan some chopped mint from your little private mint tree that you have. This should be enough. There we go. Chop that up. Oh, mint. I don't know what this is. There's something about my childhood and mint. It's a memory, and I cannot put my finger on the memory. You know what I mean? Sometimes there's a smell, a flavor from your childhood, and it reminds you of something you can't. You know what I'm talking about? You can't quite get to it. Well, minted peas does it for me, and I can't figure out why my mother never made these. We did have a lot of mint in our backyard. Maybe that's it. Maybe that's it. All right, minted peas. Just cook these for a short time, and then serve them. I'm not going to put out all of these, but oh, they're good. Little salt and pepper, and the mint will absolutely refresh your table and your palate. That's the truth. All right, here we go. Minted peas. Those are beautiful, aren't they? This one is fun. If it's the one I think it is, it is. Try a condiment made of olive oil and garlic. Olive oil, garlic. Boy, I've got stuff rolling all over the place today. Little garlic. And we're going to saute onions in this. And then we'll add some herbs. So let's get the onions in first. Yes, just a big pile of onions. You're going to saute them. And actually, we're going to sweat them down first. Sweating means that you put a lid on them and let them cook down a bit. And the moisture that they create from their own body, you see, will sweat on the top of the lid and drip on them. That means they're not quite frying. They're sort of sweating. Now, the herbs that we're going to use are already arranged on this platter. Very simple. I have some basil, some parsley, some rosemary, sage, and thyme. Got that? Here's the long needle. Rosemary looks like pine. Rosemary, sage, and thyme, along with parsley and basil. Now, what am I going to do with this? Well, I'm going to make a relish. No kind of a condiment. No sort of a side vegetable dish. No sort of a sandwich spread. No sort of a top for a quiche. No, you can do anything you want with this. Anything you want. All right, put the herbs in on the top of the sweating onions. Isn't that a horrible term for your kitchen? But that's what they do. Mix those up, and then let them cook down. And at the end of the time, oh, maybe 10 minutes max, for heaven's sakes. You don't want to caramelize them or burn them. You want to sweat them down. A little salt and pepper in there, too, by the way. And then at the last, add about 1/3 of a cup of white wine. And what you come up with, and then let that cook until everything's tender. What you come up with is so rich and so good. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? And it literally is a relish that you can put on the table, and it's great with meats. It's great omelet filling. This is just one of those versatile messes that I want you to prepare and keep in the refrigerator. In our time, the whole family kitchen means that we've got to have a lot of things to fall back on, like an old larder in the Old Testament, you see. A lot of foods to fall back on. And this is very versatile. On rye bread with a slice of lettuce, this is so good. There we go. How are we doing? What's next? This is funny. Craig, you've got some garlic going in the oven somewhere. Talk to me about this. What are you doing with it?
Oh, yes. Well,
you're going to make a garlic butter, I think,
sure.
Right?
We baked a couple of whole heads. And they were baked for 40 minutes in about 375 degrees. We just need to break them open, and we can squeeze the cloves.
You're doing a lot better than I am. There we got it.
Squeeze the cloves right out.
Okay. All righty.
There you go.
Oh, I see it. Here you are. It's like paste. Here.
All right.
Here's some butter. And you just squeeze the clove.
Squish it right out.
Yeah.
See, it comes right out.
You know, I like to just eat this stuff as it is on a piece of toast, Craig.
It's delicious like that.
Oh,
It
it
really
doesn't have that sharp flavor that garlic usually has.
Well, when you cook garlic, it becomes a little more mild. You know the one dish, the 40 chicken with 40 cloves of garlic?
Oh, that's a long time ago. Right, I remember it.
That's not so.
Why don't you
so
stir that up
garlicky.
and I'll get rid of this for you. You can put in as many cloves as you want, I suppose. You've got, what have you got, about 5 or 6 in there?
Yeah.
And it's really a much softer, here you go. It's really a much softer garlic butter so that you can use it when your mother-in-law's coming over, right?
You would probably have it for breakfast, even.
Oh, I think it'd be great on rye
I've
toast.
seen you do some crazy things.
Okay,
But
well,
it's
just
good.
leave the pork in that and set it out to remind them.
All right.
Now, I want you to meet Mark. He's with our staff, and he's made a lover salad. At least I said they're a lover. Come on, Mark. Where is it? I call it a lover salad because I think basil and tomatoes absolutely belong together. What have you got? What'd you do?
Got sliced tomatoes, sliced white onions, and some fresh basil leaves, whole basil
Isn't
leaves.
that gorgeous? Now, what are you going to dress it with?
Made a dressing of olive oil, lemon juice,
Get your spoon.
fresh
You know what?
oregano, salt and pepper.
Olive oil, lemon juice, oregano.
Oregano, salt, and pepper.
Okay.
That'll go right over the top.
Isn't that beautiful? Oh.
We
If
have,
this kind of cooking doesn't turn you on, you're not turn-onable.
we have a little bit of grated mozzarella cheese
Okay.
in the center,
In the
and
center.
I think a little grated Parmesan on top would be really good.
Oh, that's gorgeous. Boy, that'll bring them in from the farm, won't it? Oh, that's beautiful. Put it
There you
out,
go.
Mark, and they'll get a good shot of it for everybody at home.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. Terrific. Isn't that a range? You know, if you bother to arrange your food nicely, if you make it colorful and beautiful, then the eye is excited, as well as the tummy. And both must be turned on. The Japanese, say, food must feast the eye as well as the stomach. And I really believe that. I really believe that. What's next? We've got a soup going here. Where's the soup, Craig? This is so good.
Yeah, right up on the front of the stove here.
Okay. What's in that?
Well, you
As
need
if-
about 2.5 quarts of
As
chicken stock.
As if I didn't know. Tell me. Okay.
Good chicken stock, and we simmered it for about an hour with fresh herbs like rosemary and oregano and parsley. And then you strain the soup, but you want to reserve the stock. And then you thicken that up with a roux, which is the flour and butter mixture that we use as a thickening agent.
Yes.
Very common in the kitchen, of course.
But you're missing something. I watched you cook a bunch of garlic ahead of time.
Not yet.
Oh.
Okay. Then you need 2 heads of garlic. Don't keep too scared.
Go on,
We're
Doctor.
going to simmer it with a little bit of water. The cloves have been peeled. And then when you simmer those for 15 minutes, it takes out some of that harsh flavor. Then puree that and add that to your stock.
I see.
Now you have a good garlic soup.
Okay.
Now we have
So
to garnish
you've got
that.
2 heads of garlic in there, and herbs, and chicken stock, and you've thickened that with a roux.
Exactly.
All right, now what?
Little wine and little half and half, that sort of thing.
Okay.
You're just making sort of a cream soup, but it's got garlic in it.
Tons of garlic.
Of course,
That's wonderful.
garlic croutons to boot,
To boot? All right, all right. What else do you need?
and a little bit of, let's see, some fresh chives chopped
Okay.
up would be
Let
nice.
me give you some room here.
Okay.
I'm going to put this out now, and then
That's a
you'll
heavy
just
one,
garnish
too.
it. Oh, it's gorgeous. This is so rich. All right, some chives on top of the garlic soup.
And a little bit of parsley, too.
Parsley, okay.
Gotta have some of that.
All right. Isn't this beautiful?
And
Isn't
the
it
kicker,
beautiful?
kicker is going to be
What?
a little bit of grated cheese.
Okay. You're going to put grated cheese. I don't want to say anything, Craig, but it seems to me this is a little rich. What do you think?
This is not what you call light fare.
Okay. Well, I don't want you to eat like this every night, nor do I want you to think that you should, but once in a while, you've really got to feed yourself.
There you
Particularly
go.
if you live alone, because people who live alone have a habit of cooking poorly for themselves, and loneliness destroys your self-image, I think.
I don't like eating alone.
I don't think I've ever seen you eat alone.
Not if I can avoid it.
No, I don't think so. Let's see, we've got a quiche. Don't run off yet, friend.
Oh, okay, yeah, the quiche.
Let's get that out.
That's chock full of herbs.
Okay.
Here we go.
Isn't that beautiful?
Now
Get
they
your
say-
knife.
Yeah, we'll cut a piece of
There
that.
you go.
They say if you cut 2 pieces at once rather than just one, it's supposed to come out cleanly. We'll
Who's
see.
they?
I don't know.
Okay, let's try it.
I think some lady, a nice lady, wrote us one day and said, "I know why you never get your crust out without breaking is because you don't cut 2 pieces at once." Well, we'll see if it works. I think it does.
My
Jeff.
lord.
I think
Hold
it
it.
works.
Who's this woman?
We got to right
Who's
her.
this woman?
There we
Can
go.
you do it?
Sure.
Okay.
Let's lay that one right out there.
The other day when Craig was reaching across the counter, he turned to me and he said, "Well, I can tell you designed this counter for you, not for me."
My legs are so short.
Oh, all right. Finally, where did I put it? You remember now, I said that herbs will help you cut down on salt and fat and give you flavor. There's no reason why you should put up with, not put up, I'm sorry, I retract. Dietitian in Des Moines, don't write. There is no reason why you should put up with flavorless food just because you're trying to keep up with current health information. It seems to me that you can add herbs and spices to your food instead of salt and fat and stay right on top of things. That's exactly what it's for. So I have for you. Are you ready for this one? This is very, I don't have the right knife. Just a second. Where's my bread knife? Here it is. Here it is. This is an herb and onion bread. Now what I have in here, you can't see the spots on camera, I'm afraid, but what I have in here, let me find out what I have in here, will you? I think I have, there it is. I have fresh sage chopped up, rosemary, black pepper, fresh pepper ground up, and onions. And I've sauteed the onions a bit and then mixed them into the sponge. You remember when we made bread, I always start with a sponge, 2 pounds, 3 ounces of flour, that same recipe. But because of the moisture of the onions, you want to add about 1/2 cup of additional flour to your basic batter. You got that? 1/2 cup of flour to our basic French bread batter, along with chopped sage, rosemary, pepper, and sauteed onions. This is just, well, there's no room for it. This is terrific stuff. Let me find a spot here. Then I have some friends that are going to come up and threaten us with eating here. Okay. That should do you. There you are. By the way, if you're having trouble baking, I'm always finding new products, things that I get hooked up on. The Wilton people have come up with a cushion. There's a layer in here, and they call it a whole new pan of the Easy Bake, and nothing will stick to the silly thing. Marion has been making cookies for us, and the cookies, she claims, get off the pan and climb onto the plate all by themselves. This is a very interesting invention because it means that everything is insulated. And if you're like I am, you're always burning something when you're baking. I'm an awful baker, except for bread. Cookies burn for me on the counter. I don't even have to put them in the oven. They just go. But this is a good thing. It's a good invention. It's a marvelous thing. All right. Let's see. What else? I think we're ready. Bring on the stars. Come on, you guys. Come on. We'll taste some of these things and see what you think. This is my friend Nikesha. And she was, well, you'll see her at another show. She's a very interesting young lady. And this is Matt. And we're going to eat. Did I get it right? Matt, okay. What do you want to taste, darling? This is only a 1-hour show. Come on. What do you want to try? Let me get a couple forks. You want to try some bread? You want to try some peas and mint? You want to try some quiche? What do you want to try?
Garlic bread.
On what? On some bread? Boy, listen, this woman knows what she's doing, doesn't she? Huh? All right, step back, friend. Here it goes. Nice crunchy crust. Garlic butter. We didn't mix that very long, but I think you'll like it. All right, hop to it. There you go. Go ahead. Get right in there, dear. See what you think. While they're nibbling, let's talk about other things you can do with herbs. I do not suggest putting herbs in oatmeal. You ever tried that? How is it? Is it good? It's not terribly sharp, is it? It's soft.
Yeah.
Yes. You see what I mean, Matt? What's the matter, Matt? It's all right to eat with your mouth full in this place, I promise. In this house, your mouth is supposed to be full. Always. I wouldn't suggest putting herbs in oatmeal, but you can try it in just about every other thing. I made an herb waffle once for breakfast. I didn't put syrup on it, just a little butter and a light bit of honey. And it's absolutely wonderful. There are all sorts of things you can do with herbs in order to stretch out the flavor and still maintain a healthy diet for your household, whatever your household may be. If you live by yourself, I suggest you keep some of these onions in herbs as a condiment in the refrigerator and use them in all sorts of things. Certainly you've got to have some good pasta sauce sitting around and put some pesto in that, and it'll stretch things out. There you go. I think this is great. I'm going to try a line on you guys from the Old Testament, from the book of Proverbs. I'm looking for my notes. I don't need that line. I know Proverbs better than that. I want you to tell me what you think this means. The line in Proverbs is this: it is better to feast on herbs in the midst of love than to feast on oxen in the midst of hatred. What do you think? Make any sense to you?
No.
Oh, well, that's what you need the clergy for. Let me translate. It's better to eat. The herbs are very inexpensive. In Old Testament times, people would live on herbs. You would have a bowl of herb soup with your family, people who love you. And it was better to do that, to live like literally like a peasant, than to live in a wealthy house where they would have meat every night. and yet nobody got along. Better to feast on herbs in the midst of love than to feast on oxen in the midst of hatred. That's really the motto. It's biblical, it's sound, and I want you to remember it, all right? Have a good time. Take your bread, and why don't you guys go out on the deck or something. Go sit down, we can talk some more. There you have it, the whole family kitchen, this time on herbs. We've prepared, I say we, even though I have lots of cooks, and remember, that's the theory behind the whole family kitchen. There are a lot of people bombing around in this place, and I want the same thing to happen in your kitchen. Even if you live alone, bring in people and have them help cook with you, and have help you cook and feed them 2 or 3 times a week, and you'll have a wonderful time. You'll eat much better, too. A beautiful basil and tomato salad. Craig made a garlic soup. Excuse me. I should give credit where credit is due. Mark did the salad. Craig made the soup. This herbed quiche is beautiful. I made the bread. The herbed peas are delicious. The onion condiment, you've got to try that. That's one of my babies. And finally, try pesto in your tomato sauce. You'll live better. That's what herbs are for. Remember, cut down on the oxen. Move up on the herbs. But certainly, find someone that loves you and eat with them. That's the meaning of a real appetite and real nourishment. This is the Frugal Gourmet. Till I see you again, I bid you peace. Bye-bye. Come on, you guys. Come up in front and eat some more.
If you're an Evening at Pop's fan, and who isn't, you won't want to miss their special 20th anniversary gala. Tonight at 9, celebrate with Roberta Peters, Robert Merrill, Art Buchwald, and Victor Borga, right here on WVIZ.
Funding for the Frugal Gourmet has been provided by Incinerator, inventors of the food waste disposer, the convenient kitchen appliance that eliminates food waste immediately. Incinerator, for cooks everywhere. And the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, and viewers like you.
This is PBS.
Complete recipes for all of Jeff Smith's dishes from this series are available in the Frugal Gourmet.